What's up, y'all? Hope y'all doing well. We are back with a Porsche battle. We got a 911 GT2 versus our Boxster Spider, and this is a rental from the WUG team this week. And this whole new idea of weekly rentals is super cool because you get to try out cars that don't really get talked about often or looked at often in a dealership. As well as for new players, this is pretty cool because you can actually try out different cars rather than be in your stock E or D class car. And look at this. Back in OG, this wouldn't be a thing. A Boxster versus a 911 GT2. Now, the 911 GT2, when it came out, did it come out? It came out when Tiers was a thing. So I think in Tier 3, it was a good car, but can't quote me on that because I remember that this car was a Tier 2 car because I got it for free. And I'm sure some of y'all got it for free from that Facebook challenge or whatever it was. But the 911 GT2 in A class was part of the three best cars, in which there was this, mainly for like highway straight tracks, the Z-Tune, and the Zonda F. I'm pretty sure there were three cars that were considered the meta for the OG cars with the OG tunes. So the fact that this random Boxster, which if you didn't know what the Boxster, it had 7 gears. So the 7th gear would kill the car's acceleration. And that was the thing with all 7 gear cars. The only car that really didn't have the 7th gear thing was the Aventador. However, the Aventador really couldn't be a super competitive car because of the 7th gear, which I don't know what the devs were thinking. Not sure what the devs were thinking when they're doing it, because I remember even the 12C apparently had, I'm pretty sure that had 7 gears, and the 7th gear just like destroyed all acceleration. And it's also kind of crazy for me to just forget about this car because I used this car a lot back in OG. In fact, at one point, this was my fastest car, and this is the only thing I could really use rather than a Pontiac GTO that was so sluggish. And to see it in a state now where it's competing with a 911 GT2 and finally hit a traffic car, honestly, I was expecting that at some point. I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna have a clean run. That's impossible for me. But for me to forget about this car is insane, and I'm glad that this was this week's rental car because it was not too bad. It was not too bad at all. It was a great blast from the past. And yeah, man's definitely went faster than me for sure. However, we did get slightly faster time, and we got some custom brakes. That's fire. So this is my skill mod setup that I usually use. We're driving the Honda S2K. Another car that I actually forgot was in WUG. It's crazy to think that the Honda update happened well over a year ago because I remember the Honda update pretty vividly. And I was thinking, oh, that's only like 7-8 months ago. Nah, that was over a year ago. So we drove into S2K for the first time on this server, and oh, almost crashed in a divider. Would have been pretty bad. We're going against the EM1 Civic, and what on earth just happened to him? Bro gave me a tap from behind, and he just lost all momentum. I don't know. I have no idea what happened with that. That's crazy. This might be the first time I get a win on this track because I'm always last with this track. Wow. I mean, it was kind of a lucky win. However, dang. Alright. Good job, I guess. S2K. It's kind of an unremarkable car. It's slow, however, it does handle nice. It handles nice, but it's kind of eh. We got another man's rocking the rental Boxster. But we in this track in which so many familiar layouts. However, I've never done this race before. So I changed up my CLK GTR, made it cruce themed. Definitely in the future, I'm going to be making more cars cruise themed. Just because Why not? You know, it's just cool to have a license plate, and thank you all for making it happen. And just rock my colors, you know? So this M3, is that a GTS or just a normally 92? I don't know. But, oh man, that, that man, I thought that man was gonna fly on top of me. This is definitely the racing I like. Surprisingly, I am second, which is nuts. This car is pretty solid. It's actually one of my favorite A-Class cars at the moment. But it looks like Angel VQ. Angel's going crazy. Don't think I'm going to catch up to him. However, let's see if we can fend off everyone else for second place. It is tight. I mean, if you actually look at battle for second, it's actually crazy. Man's right behind me. I didn't even see that. Wow. Oh, he's really putting the pressure on me. I gotta stay tight, man. I gotta stay tight. Don't get too crazy out here. Can't get crazy. And it looks like I fended man's off. That is pretty awesome. Great job, CLK. And that was a Z4 GT3. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, that's a pretty good car. So I'm not surprised. Anyways, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a good one. Peace.